Yo, what's going on, guys? Jay here, and welcome to this month's edition of What I've Been Listening to this month. This is for the month of October, and just a heads up for you, this is actually going to be a two-parter with the first part of this coming out, as you're watching this second part coming out, in the couple days after. Main reason, I listened to 36 albums in October. So I figured it'd be a little bit better just to break it down into two videos versus doing one super long one. And I do have a lot of stuff I want to say about some of these albums, but I don't want to, waste any time here. Let's get right into it. Starting off with True Religion by 2 Chainz, his mixtape from 2011. By the way, if you are tuning in for the first time, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share. I am very happy to have you here. I appreciate you. And please check out the gram, Talking Hip Hop, and stay tuned for some more content. Let me know in the comments what you've been listening to this month. So, True Religion by 2 Chainz. This is an album that I heard for the first time when I listened to it. I've never heard this before. In terms of like my favorite songs here, there's one that the one song that made me listen to this because I heard it kind of just, randomly and I liked it so much was KO with Big Sean. The song is incredible and is very different from everything else on this album because True Religion is very much like a late 2000s, early 2010s trap album, production wise, lyric wise, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's fun, not stuff I'm gonna go back to a bunch, but KO is like has this amazing soulful sample, kind of spacey, dreamy beat, and just great rapping from 2 Chainz and Big Sean. One Day at a Time with Jadakiss is a song I really like, as well as Letter to the Rap Game with Dollar Boy and Raekwon. Slangin' Birds, Turn Up. This is just a good mixtape. It's not anything great. It's not blowing me away, but I did thoroughly enjoy my listening experience with this. Probably, mm, I'd say top three 2 Chainz. I don't know if it's quite better than Pretty Girls Like Trap Music, but this is up there for sure. Definitely a good mixtape. Moving on to the next one. One of my favorite albums of all time. This is probably not even the first time I've talked about this album in a video like this. That's Do or Die by AZ. A lot of people probably know AZ as the guy who does the feature on Life's a Bitch, which, he obviously steals that show. That's one of the best features of all time. If you've never listened to AZ, if you've never listened to Do or Die and you like New York hip hop, what are you doing? Like, just genuinely, like, what are you doing? First of all, there's so many classic, just all-time classic songs on this record. The ones that I would consider to be that is the title track, Do or Die. Mo Money, Mo Murder, Gimme Yours, as well as Ho Happy Jackie are all-time incredible songs. And what makes this album so great is the production, is AZ's incredible rapping and lyricism, where this is kind of like this is like AZ's Illmatic. It's just like an amazingly put together, amazingly produced album where AZ's rapping about the stuff that he sees in his life in Queens. Some of these songs, you're going to listen to them if you've never heard them before and you're like, damn, I recognize this. If you would never heard this before, you would put it on and you would quite honestly be very mesmerized and impressed with the lyricism. This is one of my favorite albums of all time. No glaze, no, I don't want to get too out there with it, but this is truly one of my favorite albums of all time. There's not a weak song on here. It's concise. You're looking at 12 tracks. All of them are amazing. Came out in 1995. Again, one of my favorite albums of all time. Let's look at these annotated covers. Okay. I'm just saying, this is, if there's one album out of all of these that I'm going to say, if you've never heard of this first batch of 18 that if you've never heard, I'm going to say to listen to. It is Do or Die by AZ. But moving on to the next one. New album from Bryson Tiller, Soulless and Devices. Now, personally, I've never been a super big Bryson Tiller guy. Trap Soul, I think it's good. I think it's cool. Don't really go back to it much. I don't think he's bad by any means. I don't think he does anything that makes his music not good. I just never, he's never really clicked with me in the type of way where I'm going out of my way to revisit his music. I do really like the song Undertow on his self-titled album. But safe to say, when I was listening to Soulless and Devices, this double disc album, that's kind of broken up with the first half being more like, you know, R&B, more singing bass, and there's still singing coming through on the B side as well on the second disc on the Vices, but it's also a lot more rap focused, and you could see that from all the features here: La Tyler, Baby Drill, Rick Ross, Boss Man D-Lo. Cut Ties with Boss Man D-Lo, very good song. I like that one a lot. Burnout with Bun B is a cool track. Not one I revisit much, but it's cool. Other than that, I don't particularly I really haven't revisited any of these songs since I listened to the album. Again, it's not because I think this album's bad. I think it's good. For me personally, not anything special. I think it's good. Has some good vibes. And Bryson Tiller, he really can sing. He's a really good singer. He is just not my preferred R&B artist, but maybe with the fall and winter rapidly approaching, I'll get back into some of this. As because fall winter, that is R&B season. If you're someone who you like Bryson Tiller, you tapped into this project, let me know what you think in the comments below about this album, because I never really know how to judge Bryson just because he's someone I've never been too into. I kind of just listen to because he has that hype around him, but I don't know what the consensus on this album is. I don't really know anyone who listens to Tiller like that. So again, if you have heard it, let me know. I'm interested to hear your opinion. Cool album, not my favorite thing ever. Next up, Am I the Drama? This did end up getting another spin in the month of October. Now, have I really came back to anything on this album since it came out in the past, couple weeks since the last time I listened to this album? To be honest, no. Not at all. But I still find this album, I still stand by that this is a good album. I still stand by that there are songs that I like here. Some of these songs are like, what are the ones? What are the main two? Three actually. Pick It Up with Selena Gomez, Imaginary Players, and Magnet. And that's a 3-track run right there too. Damn, I hear those songs on the radio sometimes. Magnet, I was obsessed with when this album came out. I haven't been listening to it as much, but all three of those songs I think are really good. Salute is cool as well. I know Safe is very popular. Not my favorite. I do really like Pick It Up as a pop track though. It's a very pop sensible track. I don't even think that it's super corny, the stuff that was going on with the ringtone. I didn't even think that was egregious. So yeah, I mean, obvious, what's going on with Lizzo is terrible. Terrible song. Better Than You with Cash Cobain, I could give a shit about. This isn't the most amazing thing ever, but I do think this is a good album. Am I the Drama? Probably won't be back in rotation for a while, but it is cool. Next up, another one came out in August that is, again, kind of weaning out of rotation. I don't foresee myself listening to Starline in the near future. There are certain songs here that are still in playlist rotation, but not anything particularly crazy at this point. But it's been a couple months straight of listening to this album. Ride is still one of my favorite songs. Drapetomania I still think goes hard. The Highs and Lows has always been an amazing song. But everything I've said about this album, pretty much since it came out, I stand by. If you want to get maybe a more in-depth opinion from me, check out one of my past, recaps for monthly recap videos, or my 2025 album video, because I have given Starline a lot of shine on the channel. But yeah, very, very good album. Now back to an album that I heard for the first time ever this month, Flytrap by CJ Fly. If you are unfamiliar, CJ Fly was a member of Pro Era, close friend and collaborator of Joey Badass. He had that feature on Joey's album that I thought was killer. I thought it was awesome, and I really like his album he did, I think, in 2021 with Static Selecta. Um, the name is escaping me. The name is escaping me. Let me pull it up quick, just so, because that is the best CJ Fly album that I've heard. Oh, my computer's might bug out right now. I shouldn't have tried to do that. All right, we're still here. Never mind. I'm not gonna do that out of fear that it might. But it's a collab album with CJ Fly and Static Selecta, who does some of the best polished boom bap production in the New York scene and has been doing that for the past 10 years. But this album, Flytrap, I think it's like his first real like album mixtape type of deal. So I've been meaning to listen to this for years because I've really liked CJ for years. Not that I listened to him a whole bunch, but obviously a very skilled MC. But to be honest, I was pretty thoroughly underwhelmed by this album. I don't think the production was great a lot of the time. I, wasn't super impressed with the raps at certain points. I just, for me personally, and again, this isn't a bad album. I think it's good. Anything I'm gonna revisit in the near future, I would not say so. I don't foresee myself re-listening to this unless any time soon. Just because again, it was a good album, but nothing that blew me away. Nothing at all that blew me away. But I wish CJ was got a little bit more shine in terms of like mainstream, in terms of in general, even in terms of like the underground rap community. He's not a artist I ever really see getting a lot of respect thrown on his name. Not that he's should be praised as one, but he is very good. Anyways, moving on to the next album. Hopefully that didn't get too messy up at the end, but Let God Sort 'Em Out by Clips. This is another album that I'm just not going to talk about at length. It has been in every video I've done of this since it came out. I talked about it in my 2025 albums videos. I have a lot of content throughout my YouTube channel talking about this incredible album and how I think it's the best of the year and one of the best of all time, genuinely. So, I'm not going to add much over here just because I have spoken about Let God Sort 'Em Out at length multiple times. Maybe I'll do maybe I'll do a more dedicated video essay type of structure for it in the future to kind of just solidify all my thoughts. If that's something you guys would be interested in, definitely let me know. But this album's amazing. It's in regular rotation in terms of just throwing the whole album on. It's in my playlist rotation. It's not something I foresee falling out of my preferred listening anytime soon. Next up is an album that just came out recently that is really like throwing and making a run for a late album of the year contender. And I can't say I'm surprised. This guy, Dave, if you're not tapped in with Dave, United Kingdom rapper, Dave, one of the best lyricists in the game right now, Dave, Sprinter Dave. If you are not tapped in with this guy, you are truly missing out on one of the best hip-hop acts in the game right now. Now, he is not like the most energetic, charismatic guy to listen to, but he is pound for pound the best storyteller in rap right now, and I think it's been that way for probably a couple of years. Now, one thing that Dave does with his lyricism throughout this album, as he's done on past albums of his, like Psychodrama and We're All Alone in This Together, is he's like blunt with his storytelling. So what I mean by that is Dave is a rapper who has a very good vocabulary. It's not like the storytelling is boring, but it is to the point. He uses similes opposed to metaphors. He doesn't use them a whole bunch when he is on a storytelling cut like Fairchild, which is a song that I think everyone should listen to once in their life. It is a very important track that comes from a place of wanting to protect women and talking about the type of people in the world who do end up becoming threats to women in social situations and taking advantage of them. And he is kind of trying to call attention to that with this song and the performances that him and Nicole Black put on throughout this, 6, 7 minute song is just incredible, especially the way the instrumental evolves with Dave's rapping. That song right there is enough for me to say, yeah, this is one of the best albums of the year. But then we're going to talk about my 27th birthday as well, which is, again, Dave kind of specializes in these longer tracks where he unpacks a lot of things. And this is one of those songs where he is just going through the highs and the lows of his life at 27, rapping about struggling with addiction and rapping about being, bad to women at points and taking advantage and not being faithful of women he's with. And then he raps about wanting to stop doing that, feeling like, he's fallen behind and that he's not where he wants to be at 27. And it kind of just takes you down and through Dave's psyche and gives you some stream of conscious thought from him. The Boy Who Plays the Harp, the self-titled track, amazing outro here, where Dave kind of contemplates his place in history. And if, he starts off by going through different examples of, oh, if I was alive and during this situation, what would I do? Would I be complacent? Would I be a hero trying to save people, going through like different historical examples, makes a brief reference to the West Bank, and I guess is kind of referencing that he is on the one hand feeling guilty for not speaking up on the genocide in Gaza as much as he could, but also takes note of how he does speak about other things and how he does feel like an important person who is using his voice for good and who is trying to change a generation. And again, Dave does this. He is great at just doing this stream of conscious type of rapping, where it's very clear these songs are written, they have points, but he always takes you down like a train of thought, and I think it's awesome. I think it's so awesome. And you see Dave rapping about his place in the rap game in here as well, and I just think it's awesome. The last track, 175 Months is an amazing song as well, but the last song I want to highlight before I move on to the next song is Chapter 16, which features Kano. Now, Kano is a rapper that I don't know much about other than that they're a fairly important figure in the scheme of hip-hop from the United Kingdom. From what I understand, older rapper who's been around a while. I've never listened to him, but you get this amazing back and forth from both of these guys, kind of giving their different perspectives on different things. Dave rapping about how he wants to be like Kano, and Kano rapping about how, he thinks Dave's great. And like at points like that is a little bit self-serving. It could be, but honestly, for me, this track kind of just plays off as like an honest conversation between two guys who clearly do have a good level of rapport, who care about hip hop and care about rap and lyricism a lot. And again, it's a longer song where you're getting different perspectives, multiple verses, and Dave just does his thing here. Like, this album thematically is like organized confusion, where like Dave is kind of hopping from ideas, hopping between different ideas and different verses and different songs, and all of them kind of center around the plight of black people and immigrants and minorities in the UK and a lot of the mental struggles and personal struggles that he's facing. And he kind of hits on all these different notes, but it all kind of comes together so well. This album is also produced super well. Dave is a guy who consistently utilizes underproducing minimalist production, and it always always pans out in his favor because he is the highlight of every track he is on. Moving on to the next one. Another album mixtape, I guess, from 2011, like True Religion is. This one coming from Freddie Gibbs. Now, this project I decided to listen to because a while ago I heard the song Rob Mia, which I think is such a hard trap banger. And I've been wanting to go. I love Freddie Gibbs, one of my favorite rappers, so I've been wanting to go back into his discography, hear some of that back catalog that I haven't before. So I started off with this track right here, Cold Day in Hell. And I was very pleased. I was honestly very pleasantly surprised. I know this is more of like a trap era Freddie Gibbs, so I wasn't quite sure what to expect. But what I got was bangers. Now, is there a whole bunch of stuff that I'm going to come back to all the time here? Truthfully, no. But was my head nodding back and forth the whole time I was listening to this mixtape? Was I impressed with how hard each song went and how well Freddie was able to flow even back in 2011 with every single song on here? Hell yeah. And even though Freddie was a relatively small act at this point, you have a pretty interesting feature list here with you got Jeezy on here, of course, who at the time was his manager. He was signed to Jeezy. You have Big Crit. You have Dom Kennedy, Juicy J, 2 Chainz. So there's some cool collabs here. And if you're someone who's really into Freddie Gibbs, you haven't heard this tape, I would recommend it. It's very good. I had my fun with it. Next up, one of the best yet by Gang Starr. Gang Starr, I'm not like crazy about. This is, I think, the second album I've heard from them. Them being Guru, Rest in Peace, and DJ Premier. And I think, man, I'm forgetting the name. I think, oh, my bad. Above the Clouds is a great album. It's an amazing album, probably a classic. I don't go back to it a whole bunch. That's not the name of the album. I know right now that that's not the name of the album, but it's the album that Above the Clouds is on. That's the other Gang Starr album that I've heard. Again, it's a really good, really great album, I would even say. It's just, it's not one of those albums that brings me back to it personally. I feel very similar about this album where, like, there are great moments, like, From a Distance with Jeru the Damager. Bless the Mic is good. Business R with Talib Kweli is good. Hitman with Q-Tip is great. And the song that kind of got me to listen to this that I've heard before, long before I heard this album, because again, this is the first time I did listen to this album, Family and Loyalty with J. Cole. Crazy song. So good. Not just because of J. Cole. J. Cole? Shit. My apologies again. J. Cole is so good on this song. He is so good on this whole song. But so is DJ Premier, and so is Guru, and I don't think Guru and Primo reached that high on any other track on this album. But Family and Loyalty, if you've never heard that song before, 100% worth a listen. It is truly incredible. Next up, another OG of the rap game, Jay Electronica. He kind of came out. Hold on, this isn't. Why does this say it came out in 2020? Is this not the one that came out recently? Hold on. Because Jay Electronica, he dropped a couple of different. Here we go. This is the same album. Interesting. That's really weird. Anyways, he dropped a couple of different projects in September. I'm not a huge Jay Electronica fan. Same type of thing where, like, I could listen to him. He's very clearly a good rapper, skilled wordsmith. Very skillful type of guy. Doesn't have a lot of replay value for me personally. Like, A Written Testimony is a cool, good album, but not something I ever go back to. This is the same thing where, like, when I listen to this album, it's awesome. It truly is. Life on Mars, probably my favorite song here, as well as Road to Perdition, if that's the song. I think it is. I also remember to be really good. If you want to throw on a track list just to get some like really good lyricism, really to hear some interesting perspective as well, because like Jay Electronica is kind of known for his like out there takes, and he like very much incorporates his personal beliefs, his religious beliefs into his lyricism. So if you want to hear some good bars, good rapping, and get perspective different from pretty much anyone else in the rap game, I definitely recommend listening to this. Now, am I gonna go back to it? Not much, if at all, to be completely honest. But I'm so glad that I listened to it. I would give Leaflets a chance as well. I don't think I listened to Leaflets, so it's a chance. I might listen to that in the near future too. Hold on, let me catch a quick water break. But the next album is like Starline, like Am I the Drama. It's an album that I've talked about several times on this channel. Lonely at the Top by Joey Badass. Now again, I've talked about this mixtape to an extent since it came out in my August albums video, September albums, 20 best albums of 2025. So I'm gonna keep it brief. This is an album that's not really in my like playlist rotation anymore. Um, I don't foresee myself listening to it in the near future. It's kind of running out. It's kind of after this most recent listen I had with it, it's kind of ran out its stay for me personally. Not that I think it's a bad album, not that I think the songs are bad, but it's just not the most memorable for me personally. Oh my god, excuse me. Now, to be transparent, songs like Dark Aura, BK's Finest, with CJ Fly, Rome Streets, and Kai Cash, as well as I would say Swank White. When they come on, I'm not gonna skip them necessarily still, but they're not coming on a whole bunch. I mean, I still like a lot of the songs here. It's just from like I'm the type of guy who, when an album comes out from an artist I really like, I'll listen to it, anywhere between like 5 and 8 times in the, first couple months that it comes out. And for the most part, then that'll really, after that, it'll be relegated to a couple songs on the playlist I'm listening to actively. And unless I really like it. Like God, Sort 'em Out was a huge exception to that. But like this album, Starline are both kind of in that category where like they're really good and I do really like them. But right now, they, ran their course for me right now. They'll be back in rotation in the future. Now, for the last couple albums, just to give you guys insight as well into what's going on, things coming up in the future of Talking Hip Hop, things to look forward to, as I am bringing back the Talking Hip Hop show, my podcast, in a form of just to give you the brief setup of what I'm thinking about doing is there's theories out there that the best rappers, the best artists are ones that have either 5 classic albums or 5 albums above 8 out of 10. That's the way I structure because I don't think any artist has 5 classic albums. But the artists that have 5 albums that are above an 8 out of 10. If you have 5 albums that are an 8 or higher, you're essentially one of the best rappers. That's how the theory goes. So I've heard, but I thought it would be fun to turn that into a little game. Sit down with some of my friends, some people whose rap hip hop opinion I value greatly, and kind of come to that decision: is so and so a legend? Just to kind of keep a consistent theme from episode to episode, consistent word track episode to episode. Now, to start off, me and one of my good friends will be sitting down talking about Kanye West. That will be coming in the next 2 weeks, I imagine. I don't have an official date, but sometime in November, mid-November. So, as you could tell by the 6 albums we have left for this part 1 of this video, Kanye is going to be the debut episode. And now, I'm not going to get too deep into my opinions on these albums because there will be more Kanye-related content like that podcast. I'll likely do like a Kanye West discography ranking with the tier list as well because, again, that podcast is not really going to be about ranking the discography as much as it is just about which albums might be in contention for that. But I've still been going through, listening to his whole back catalog. Got a couple more to get through. But, so, we had 6 here of Kanye's that I want to talk about in this video. I'll keep it kind of brief again because there is going to be Kanye content. But just to frame my analysis of Ye and his albums, if you are familiar with my content, you're familiar with me. You know that I've never been a huge Kanye fan. I don't think he's the GOAT. I don't think he is a GOAT level album. I don't think he's the best rapper. Anything like that. Like, he's good. He's honestly great. He kind of falls into an Eminem or like Lil Wayne category to me, where like very clear, apparent skills, put together amazing bodies of work, but is just not consistent. Not consistent in discography and level of rhymes and level of interest I have for them. So Kanye has always been someone that a lot of people tend to like more than I do. Now, I still like Kanye. I still have respect for Kanye as an artist, not as a person. But he's not someone I listen to a whole bunch. So a lot of these albums I haven't heard in years. Literally in years. Like 808s and Heartbreak starting off. I haven't heard this album in years. And to be honest, my opinion hasn't changed too much on it. I don't think of it, I think, any differently than I was before. Only things that really changed for me is this didn't change. Paranoid is an all-time banger. That's one of my favorite songs. It's incredibly fun. Then in terms of like notable takeaway, is Amazing is a lot better than I remembered. And I like Jeezy on there a lot. I like that song a lot, to be honest. Other than that, don't have much to say about 808s. It's a good album. It's an influential album. Next up, Graduation. Another good and influential album. Pretty much to describe how I feel about Graduation. Good Morning to Drunken Hot Girls are songs that peak at being good, at being maybe I'd say Good Morning, and I wonder like 8 out of 10s. Drunken Hot Girls just straight up isn't good. I don't like Can't Tell Me Nothing. I don't like Stronger. Good Life is alright. But then we get Flashing Lights to the end of the album. Flashing Lights to the end of the album is like generational. Generational run. I could sit here and say all 6 of these songs are 10 out of 10. Good Night's an amazing closer. Big Brother is a great track about Ye's relationship with Jay-Z. Homecoming has a great Chris Martin feature and is super fun to hear Ye rap about coming back to Chicago after becoming one of the most successful rappers there is. The Glory is great. Everything I Am is also just great perspective from Ye, where he kind of talks about how his differences and what people would perceive as weaknesses about him. Everything he's not made him everything he's him. Him being kind of a nerd, a producer guy who wasn't like out front, huge chain gap. Because keep in mind, this was like the mid 2000s when Kanye was coming up, and all the biggest rappers were, like. This is when we really started to see the street and like luxury take over in the rap game, bling era, some might say. 50 Cent was popping at this time, T.I., Jeezy, Wayne, and Kanye's kind of just rapping in that song about him being different from those people fundamentally has allowed him to get to the place where he is. And of course, Flashing Lights, which is just a beautiful, fun song. So, yeah, Graduation, great album. I wouldn't go any more than that. I wouldn't go any higher than that, but it's got some very high highs. Next up, Late Registration. Now, if there's an album that, like, my opinion of it really changed, because for the most part they didn't, right? Like 808s, I feel relatively the same. Graduation, I feel relatively the same about. But Late Registration, I haven't listened to this album in probably 5 years, to be honest. And I just, 5 years ago when I listened to it, I didn't really care for it. I listened, I was like, all right, cool. Let's see what's next. And then listening to this again, now this has been in rotation crazy for me. Because this is just an incredible album. I was severely sleeping on this album. I just thought it was a way weaker version of the College Dropout, kind of just toned down. But no, the darker atmosphere, the jazzier instrumentals. I mean, Late Registration is really one that is I've been sleeping on. Now, like I said, I don't want to go too deep into all these albums because I want to save some stuff for the podcast. The return of the Talking Hip Hop show coming out soon. But god damn, there's like so many good songs here. I mean, this is just really, Late registration is not one that would have counted for the concept of the podcast. It would not be it was not an 8 out of 10 for me before, but it's definitely higher than that now. Amazing. My beautiful Dark Twisted Family. Fantasy, I don't know why I keep saying that. I had said that off camera to myself a couple times as well. Amazing album. I don't think it's one of the best ever. It'd probably be in like the 60 to 90 range in the top 100 for me. Maybe even 75 to 100 range in the top 100 rap albums for me personally. Now, you're welcome to have your own separate opinions from it. That's just me. I don't think this is like Kanye's best album. I don't think I don't think it deserves a lot of the praise it gets. There's a lot of weak moments on this album for me, but the highs are so incredibly high here. And it's hard to deny that this album is great because of that. The highs are incredibly high here. Super fun listening experience. Two more to boot. The College Dropout. Ye's best album. All-time classic. My opinion of this album only increased revisiting it. Because goddamn, is it good. Last but not least. Actually, I lied. Last but least. The Life of Pablo. Where this is one where, again, listening to it, my opinion didn't change that much. If anything, went down. I don't like this album. I'm just going to come out and say it. I don't like this album. Now, again, there are very high highs here. There are very high highs, and they come in the form of Waves, 30 Hours, No More Parties in LA, and St. Pablo. Now, I'm not going to say everything else here I could do without. I like Ultralight Beam and Father Stretch My Hands are both cool. I think Facts is an interesting one, but really, other than those four songs, I could leave most of the rest of this album. Production is weak, all over the place. Kanye lyrically is at some of the worst in his career. The features are interesting, and none of it just really fits together, and not in a way that benefits it. I know a lot of people like to say that about this album, that, oh, it's a beautiful mess. Nah. For me, this one's just a mess. For me, this one's just a mess. Now, granted, Waves, No More Parties in LA, 30 Hours, St. Pablo, these are some of Kanye's best songs ever. Some of his best songs ever, if we're keeping it a buck, if we're keeping it a stack. But the rest of this album, nah, man, not for me. But anyways, with that being said, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Be on the lookout for the part 2 of this, where I will be going over 18 other albums that I listened to in October, giving you my opinions on them. Please be sure to let me know what you've been bumping this month in the comments below. Be sure to keep an eye out for that Kanye podcast. If you're hearing me talk about albums and you're like, oh, you wish I was saying more, go back and check out my top 12 albums of 2025 at this point. And that list needs to be updated already now that Dave's out, now that Daniel Caesar came out. But honestly, hey, I listened to Goldfish by Hit Boy and The Alchemist today too. Damn, that album surprised me with how good it was. But yeah, I appreciate everyone who tuned in. If you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much. Leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know that you stuck around, because that does mean a lot to me. And yeah, I hope to talk to you guys again soon. Appreciate y'all. Peace.